What's going on, Reject Nation? Greg and John here today. So excited. We're going to watch Loki episode 5. Let the Loki variants interact amongst each other. There's actually a reshot intro for stupid reasons I don't need to tell you about. But guys, here's what I said before. If you end up enjoying this video, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button. That's the first thing I said. The second thing I said was, if you end up enjoying this video, subscribe and click that notification bell. Also, full-length watch-alongs where you sync up with the time code are over at our Patreon page. We cover a bunch of other shows there too, like I mention all the time. However, the new tradition must continue. Another reaction channel I would like to shout out, and this one is going to be The Movie Couple. It stars Wendy and Dustin. Dustin, we're very close. Wendy, we don't really know at all. You know what? It was funnier the first time I said it, but they're not going to see that.
They're not going to see it, but you could explain the joke.
Bit was
and that always makes
because the joke is that we're actually we know Wendy better than Dustin, but Dustin's great too.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, look, what I said before is that Wendy is an amazing human being. Like ever since this whole time of doing YouTube, she has been one of the most absolute, genuine, helpful human beings I've ever gotten to know. She's just a real friend. So was Dustin by association, because we're closer to Wendy.
I love you, Dustin.
I love Dustin too. You know, it's just, let's face it, who am I going to text? They have a reaction channel, The Movie Couple, where they're killing it. They're hustling constantly, and they're very entertaining reactions, and they're just great people overall. Emperor Thom Jindal, thank you for hustling, getting this video up for us, getting them highlights done. Let's do this. There's some strong, coarse language in this episode.
Oh, good.
According to the rating.
Maybe we can get a Marvel F-bomb.
TVA is turning upside down, man. The whole world's turning upside down.
I love this shot.
Multiverse Madness?
I love the whole episode because I love this one shot so much.
It's a great shot.
Don't know what it could be symbolizing, though.
Is anyone else excited right now? Look at this. This is awesome.
I think I'm gonna call nipple chills before you do.
Oh, what did that building say? Darn it.
It's one of those, the Daily Bugle?
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Great establishing shot showing you the world they're in.
This is the void, that's Alioth, and we're his lunch. Come on!
Oh.
Ooh, awesome. That's the original design of Clifford the Big Red Dog.
You thought the realistic red shade was scary.
So they have to kill Goliath.
Who's really behind the TVA?
I'm as in the dark as you are.
I want to know who lied to me.
I don't believe
When we
you.
purely branched reality, it's impossible to destroy all that's matter. So we move it to a place on the timeline where it won't continue growing.
A garbage dimension.
Yes.
Nothing ever comes back from there. I can help you if you trust me.
How can she trust you?
Yeah.
I still don't trust you.
Yeah.
Let's put one of those, like, collar things on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Get B-15 in here.
Wow.
I'd like to suggest we take a quick breather so I can ask several thousand questions. Will someone please explain to me what the hell is going on?
That's some strong, coarse language right
Whoa. This is Disney. Families.
And now I'm surrounded by variants of myself, plus an alligator, which I'm heartbroken to report I didn't even find all that strange. Back to the TVA!
Ooh.
Stop wailing or you will signal Alliance.
You mean the monster in the sky?
there. Oh, you cool Loki. You're not Kid Loki.
Cool Loki with a K.
Alliance? He ensures none of it ever returns.
And just like you're doing right now, we all stood around making bad plans that went nowhere.
Yes, but if you thought of using a temp pad.
Oh, the one thing that could easily get us out of here. Yes! They're all over the place, right, guys?
Did he still have one?
What about causing a Nexus
sorry,
event?
sorry.
We're done talking. Let's go. Just do what you want, I guess.
Man, that sounds like a rough way to live.
It's another theme for Loki's.
You let a child command you.
You'll do well to respect the boy. This is his kingdom.
Right. What was your Nexus event, Your Majesty?
I killed Thor.
Oh, damn. I don't think that Loki gonna like that piece of news.
Nope.
Peter Jackson's Loki. Thanos.
Wow.
It's a variant Thanos.
He's a helicopter.
What
in this
universe is a
dimension.
helicopter?
It's a really great helicopter in this dimension.
Damn.
Ah,
no
Mjolnir. Oh!
There's a little Thor. Ooh.
Christmas
Ooh.
Loki.
Miss Minutes, I need you to remote access a series of restricted files from the archives.
Ooh, doggy. On what?
The beginning of time, the founding of the TVA.
Right away?
Wait, what about the end of time? It would be impossible to start a Nexus event there.
That's it. That's the only place they could be.
So how do we get past the void?
It's impossible. There's nothing for the Tempad to lock onto. No destination.
Then we go through it.
Nice.
That's suicide.
And I guess my need for you has passed.
Wait! What about the Void spacecraft?
Yes, the prototype.
Great.
Oh.
I'll get the file.
Super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Maybe she's working with Miss Minutes. Theory confirmed.
Miss Minutes, where are the files on this time craft?
It's highly restricted. I might not even have clearance.
Oh no, I think you would.
How long?
Any second now.
Go, go, go!
Yeah.
Sylvie? Sooner or later, we'll catch you.
Oh, you look afraid though.
I'll admit you had me fooled there for a minute.
I was never fooled.
Nope. I was hoping.
You come out with your hands up, and I'll put you in a time loop. You can live out your days in a good memory. Do you have any good memories?
Just one, really.
The postman she's dating.
Yeah. It's a green light at the other side of the pond.
Oh, no way!
And she's dead too.
Baller move, Sylvie.
So, after I vanquished Captain America and Iron Man, I claimed my prize. All 6 Infinity Stones. Insane liar. Well, at least my Nexus event wasn't eating the wrong neighbor's cat.
Hey, you'd be nice, that alligator.
Polybius.
It's just, I've been wondering. Thanos kills us after Ragnarok.
Thanos. My timeline. Everything proceeded correctly my entire life until Thanos attacked our ship. I cast a projection of myself so real, even the mad Titan believed it. After I faked my death, I simply drifted in space. Thought about the universe and my place in it. Landed on a remote planet and stayed there in isolation, in solitude, for a long, long time.
How did the TVA find you?
I got lonely, but as soon as I took my first steps to getting off the planet, the TVA arrived.
Oh.
Because we, my friends, have but one part to play. The god of outcasts. The god of outcasts.
That guy's a good actor. Who would have thought?
Where'd they find him?
You should work for.
Have any of you met a woman variant of us?
Sounds terrifying.
She's not trying to take over the TVA. She's trying to take it down. And she needs me.
She needs me.
Is what keeps us here.
Gotta vanquish Alioth.
And I could use all the help I could get. Monsters.
This Loki is different. Oh, I told you.
Which one of us are you? This is a nightmare.
Okay. So it is a variant. All right, cool. Oh, I really want to see if my prediction of how the events go exactly as I predicted.
I'm rooting for you all the way. Oh, no. Oh.
No.
Look at that.
It's like the smoke from Lost.
Sims. Yeah.
Whoa, Sylvie.
Are you like getting inside its mind?
Oh, Sylvie's gonna be the key to getting out of here.
Mobius?
Oh, it's gotta be Mobius,
It's
yeah.
gotta be Mobius.
It's gotta be him.
Pizza time.
You! Can you shut the door?
Yes.
By the way, you should be careful just jumping into a stranger's car like that.
Oh, they edited her out of the shot, I think. Oh, great.
We're not in Egypt anymore.
I like the music for him.
I betrayed you, and now I'm king.
About that.
You can't be serious.
Come on. How about this one? My army, my throne.
About that.
My beef-witted, half-faced scrubs! We had a deal!
I love this so much. Yes.
This is how it would go down with Loki's.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That is some good sorcery.
Yeah.
Love the music.
Nothing can change until the TVA is stopped. I believe she's our only chance of stopping the TVA.
That's good enough for me.
All right, then.
Okay.
Got a team.
We'll get you to it, but that's as far as we go.
I just love, like, all these other people who are just coming here.
Ha!
USS Eldridge.
Doesn't Eldridge mean, like, dead things?
He'll go after the big meal first, and while he's busy with that, we can sneak around the back and...
Sneak around the back?
Back of
what? Wow.
Jeepers.
Wow.
What a nightmare.
Wow. There's no way you could beat that, is what the show has convinced me of.
No, this is where they all die.
Carl.
What?
Yay! Yay!
You're alive.
What happened? You okay? Mobius. How did you...
We thought you could do with some backup.
Guys.
You guys.
So you're all after the giant cloud monster too, then?
We haven't decided how we're going to kill it, but
Sorry,
yeah.
come again. Kill it? Oh my god, that was your plan.
Yeah.
And you all went along with it.
I was having my doubts.
What's your plan, then?
I think the person we're after is beyond the void at the end of time. And if they are, that thing is just their guard dog protecting the only way in.
How do we get past the guard dog?
I'm going to enchant it.
Yeah, it's good, sure, good.
I've been down here a bit longer than you. I know
I'm
a thing or
going
two.
to-
A bit.
10 minutes.
Kang the Conqueror, you in here?
Kang! Immortus? Oh. Ooh.
Not cool.
What exactly do you want from me?
I want you to tell me what drives her.
Revenge drives her. Killing the Timekeeper, but they turned out to be fake in case you forgot. So she'll be searching for whomever created them.
Look how the red in her eyes. It's like, it's crazy. It's a great reflection.
You'll never find them. Not before she does.
And why is that?
You only want it. She needs it.
There is a difference.
She's so good, dude.
I know, right?
She is incredible.
Well, I'd seen on both the runs.
Oh, yeah.
Grinwood.
Assuming you do get back to the TVA, what exactly are you getting yourself into?
No. I like to let people know the truth.
So just like that, you're turning on the very thing you devoted your life to.
It's never too late to change.
Just get him a jet ski. That's all he wants, but the fans want, man.
He cares about you.
I care about you.
It's cold.
Nice.
Conjure one for you if you like.
Tell you what, you could conjure me a new outfit.
I can't do that.
It's beyond my skill level.
I don't have friends.
I don't have anyone.
Well, there are more important things, right?
Right? Yeah, like bringing down the TVA.
I mean, saving the universe when you think about it.
Well, there's no need to be dramatic, but yeah, kind of.
Oh, Loki cuddles.
It's not very snuggly.
Okay.
Is it a tablecloth?
No, it's a blanket.
Oh, you should make it a weighted blanket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful shot.
How do I know that in the final moments you won't betray me?
I betrayed everyone who ever loved me, and that's not who I am anymore. What will you do when this is all over?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe we could figure it out. Together.
Maybe.
What the? I did not notice that with their heads before.
Yeah, just little floating orb heads.
Loki's in the Mobius.
When it hit me earlier, I linked to it. I can enchant it, and it's gonna take me to whoever's behind all of this.
Stan Lee.
I'm staying.
Loki, I don't even know if this is gonna work.
You go. I go.
Man, he's really giving his whole heart to her.
Absolutely. His whole self.
You boys want a ticket out of here?
What? No. We're staying here.
This is our home. Looks like you got away in the end. I always do. Well, see you later, Loki.
Hug him. Yeah.
Yeah. I love them together.
Friend. You're my favorite.
Aw, Mobius. The scale on this episode.
Yeah.
I love that they shoot so much of this in like these landscapes. Wow. Purple. Marvel loves their purple.
We'll have to cause a distraction.
Oh, didn't even need any words. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Doctor, whoa, what?
Oh, yes! I didn't know what was going on. Wow! Loki's sorcery, he's doing Asgard.
Drop that dagger right now. It's holding you back.
Awesome!
Oh, how beautiful. Wow.
Wow, what a badass
How
moment.
Gorgeous. Yes. Oh.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Stop teasing me. Ooh. No. Come on, other Lokis, step up. Glorious Papas.
Oh. So that was not a projection. Okay.
Oh.
Gorgeous. So- Wow, I'm enchanted by this.
Absolutely.
Now that they've won. Light reflects all green upon them.
Yeah. And green is the complement of purple. They're opposites.
Cool.
No, red.
Awesome. Way to go, show.
God, man.
That was something.
That was.
Huh?
I'm trying to find the right word right now. I'm a little speechless.
I'm very yeah. I was entranced in that. I was like lost in it. I was just like not like for a long program. Like, my eyes are not leaving the screen. I'm so into this. Got a couple of little gripes within the first half of the episode.
Okay.
But for the most part, like.
Well, let's make sure to focus in on the gripes.
What I really want is that I want to talk great about this episode, but I want all the top comments to be just a couple little tiny gripes that don't really.
That's what we want you to take away from something like this, you know. You don't need us to tell you what was amazing about it.
I've never seen a show like this.
No.
It really did have like a fantasy, sci-fi Arthurian tale about it, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I mean, with Richard E. Grant, you get that like Shakespearean, like classical bravado too. That,
yeah, it was great here.
Really anchors.
They were like, "We got Richard E. Grant. We need to do some shit with him."
Yeah, we need to let him do his thing, man.
It's like one plot of this episode was like fantasy apocalyptic quest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side was sci-fi investigative. I was getting some like Ex Machina vibes for some reason.
Yeah, I was getting Alex Garland in a few different points.
Especially with like B-15s in the jail.
Yeah. Well, and even parts of...
There's no post-credit scene.
They're just going to save it all for the finale.
Oh, wow.
And something about Alioth kind of took me to, in a not as direct of a way, but kind of to like Annihilation a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying. So you were not thinking of the...
I wasn't thinking of The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, okay. All right. My mind was actually thinking about the Aladdin one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
oh, yeah.
Dares to enter.
I thought that the first time, yeah. I was considering making the joke.
I'm glad you stopped considering that. Let's talk about this.
All right, guys. So yeah, I think it's actually like King Loki. I don't think it's Kang the Conqueror. We were actually just on Cosmic Wonders live stream before the episode aired, and on there we were saying why we think narratively, because I know last week we were like it's gotta be Kang, but as more thought was put into it before this episode even aired, we were like, no, it's probably another Loki, because narratively that would make sense the most.
With the theme of the show just being about self-confrontation.
Yeah. And you know how this Loki, I want to address something super quick here, as I know that there's this portion of the internet that's like, Loki, they just softened him and they made him a full-blown hero.
Made him a soy boy cuck.
And he's so like
beta.
Such a protagonist now, such a good person at this point that he's arrived at in this show, the arc that he has gone through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, it didn't change the Loki that you were invested in, who was a villain turned good, died at the grip of Thanos. That's a different Loki.
The point is that that's different Loki.
That's a different
and
Loki.
that one is supposed to exist.
Yes, this is a different Loki that we're following. So it's just a different journey for this specific rendition, this variant, so to speak. But anyway, yeah, narratively speaking, because I think the big debate is like, would it be another Loki? Would it be, I don't think it's Miss Minutes, would it be Kang the Conqueror? And where I'm sort of coming from is that I think if you're like really invested in the comics and you read all that, or you watch the breakdowns and Easter eggs and whatever from like other channels, you would look at the clues similar to how we did with Mephisto, of like there's Agatha Harkness in here, Devil in the Details, Scratchy, Billy and Tommy,
the Darkhold,
things that were very Mephisto tied in. So a lot of us were thinking it's got to be Mephisto, right? Mm-hmm. And then by the time you got to the, but then it was like, well, it would be kind of weird to introduce Mephisto just in the final moments. And here, I would kind of say the same thing. I think narratively, story structure-wise, it would just be more impactful if it was another Loki. Like, you see the castle here. My mind is going to that shot in the trailer of when you do see Loki like King of the Throne.
Yeah.
We have not seen that shot in this show yet.
No, and I mean, we've seen shots in the trailers that have been altered, like you pointed out with Mobius in the car, but not anything yet that just hasn't been at all paid off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think story-wise, I get why people would go to King. I was, because I'm like, the comics, King the Conqueror. It makes sense. It would be King the Conqueror. But then I'm like, well, we got one episode left. It'd be kind of jarring to just, like, narratively that wouldn't feel ultimately fulfilling. You got to think about, like, the general audience, all the people who this is designed for that, to experience this season alone. And from a story perspective, it's like, how can an audience member who's not familiar with any of that and is just watching the show and has only seen the movies, just watching the show, just go, I'm guessing it's King the Conqueror. Usually a big reveal that they've been setting up, like a big reveal that a show is setting up, generally speaking. It has to be something where an audience member can go, should have seen that coming,
Yeah, and the thing that this is slowly teaching me, and we'll see how Loki winds up, but I think that they are setting up both Kang and Mephisto and all these things. And I mean, looking at Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the other, recent properties, like, the Young Avengers are coming, the Thunderbolts are coming. They're doing a lot of like long-term setups, I think, but also with these shows story arcs, they're not making it so, it's like you think back to the original phases and it's like they built things way far in advance, and I can kind of see them doing that now with these characters like Kang. We know Kang is coming, confirmed in at least Ant-Man Quantumania, and so like the seeds are there, and I think that for comic book fans or for people who are liable to dig in, like I think the point is to sow those seeds, but I think you're absolutely right. Like in a narrative fashion, it's not going to be fulfilling emotionally to have a completely random, very powered up, also blue and purple guy show up and be like, haha, it's me.
Like, I wouldn't say it won't be fulfilling, but I can't imagine it can be as fulfilling just when you're speaking from a story perspective. And I feel like that's kind of where the show is headed. While there's things that are kind of nodding to King the Conqueror, and there's no denying it, like whatever they're doing here in Loki is going to have ramifications for Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Ant-Man. Like, it's King the Conqueror for sure is coming, but I think there's a lot of solid reasons why it wouldn't be King the Conqueror, why I think it would be another Loki.
And I mean, if you think about it, like Loki being the person at the end of all this really does fall in line with like the ideal of his glorious purpose to begin with. Like it's the most diabolical. He won. He created the Time Variance Authority and controls all of space and time. And that would be a great confrontation.
That he's already won.
For Sylvie and Loki, and again as a self-confrontation, like that would be the kind of pièce de résistance for that kind of plot line.
And I think it would be neat too if because we have turned this version of Loki and then the character that we have focused on into more of a heroic nature, like his arc in this show, it would be cool that if you have a hero Loki and then the big baddie is actually a villainous Loki,
and
how we know Loki is villain. The superior Loki.
Yeah, that too. Oh, good call. Because you can imagine that line of like, I am the superior Loki.
Clearly he would have a lot to back that with by his accomplishments, because that line did stand out to me of like, you're looking at this planet. I'm like, why does it feel like it's just mainly Lokis here? Like, why are there so many Lokis here? I'm like, why are we bumping into, do Lokis just travel in packs? Are there other people here?
Or is it just everyone else is pretty bad at avoiding Alliance and Lokis are pretty good at it?
I mean, that's just one, because they survive, right? But that's just one thing to get out of the way. As in terms of like the episode itself, I thought it was really well handled. Like the there was like this Lord of the Rings-esque fantasy way this was captured. Like it's like a venture quest on foot. A lot of those shots that you have when they're at this planet. Yet, when you go back to the TVA, it's like such a. I'm kind of at a loss for words when it comes to describing the emotional experience of this episode, because it was so varied. There was so much happening in terms of emotions. It kind of it wowed me in a different way.
Well, yeah, because it gives you like it's funny to me because they're constantly surprising me with how much they're willing to go with their emotional resonance and how much they want to deconstruct, and like even throwing fun sci-fi stuff at you like a bunch of other Lokis, and even the way in this episode that kind of plays humorously. Even so, like that's still every Loki he comes in contact with has to be sort of peeling back layers and further proving all these different points he's been learning about like intentionality and what you really want to make out of your life once you've kind of found your place in the world. And I loved like getting to hear classic Loki's story, because this is a Loki who like became one with the universe and like went to be Dr. Manhattan out like out in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, like there is,
it's almost as if his story was a theory that we had of how Loki could have survived Avengers Infinity War.
He hides as a piece of debris, and then and I think like there is again so much like sci-fi hijinks and fun to this, but again they let kind of every version of the character have some kind of, at least the ones we spend the most time with, characters. Like even Alligator Thor is praying at one point, and Kid Loki, for as much as that's not like a heavy character, he's like, I killed Thor, and that is a moment on Loki. And then you have everything with him and Sylvie, and so like there is this like weirdly broad emotional spectrum mixed with this also level of, and I think it's not a coincidence that you see Asgard resurrected, because you have this Lord of the Rings scale epicness, which I feel like what they always wanted the Thor films to have, and that was, some people would argue, kind of a weight on the first two films, keeping them from being all the much fun as they could be. And I thought this brought the best of those flavors also into this big, sprawling, desolate place at the end of time that needs to feel epic and uncharted and unruly,
Speaking of Uncharted, I kind of felt like when Tom Hiddleston suited up with the sword, I was like, hey, you could have, maybe there was a Nathan Drake in you.
Oh yeah, you see that, and then you go watch Kong Skull Island, and you're like, I can see it.
He could have done it, maybe. Maybe there's a possibility.
He just bulked up a little bit more and they made him look shorter.
I will say though, I like the last half a lot more. There was things in the first half that I was a little bit let down by. Some of it I feel like is valid criticism. Other parts are nitpick, and another issue is just expectation.
Okay.
And I think that falls on the fact that in the trailers you see the President Loki. And that was such a big hyped up thing. Like even Marvel themselves seem to be pushing that specific image of them. And then with the tease of, you're on a planet where there's going to be other Loki variants to come into contact with, I felt like they didn't really utilize or do as much as they could have done, whether that be actual deconstruction with all the other Lokis and how this can reflect onto the Loki that we're watching. Or just having fun with all these Lokis, Like they focused on a few, which is arguably what you ought to do so you don't get bombarded. Really, the only way I could have gotten my wish fulfilled is if this episode, or like focusing on this planet, if they had made it into 2 episodes, which I really wouldn't have minded, because I wanted to kind of live in here a little bit longer in the isolation, in the desolation, really get into the shoes of what it would be like, really sell me, or at least attempt to sell me on how's Loki going to get out of here, because pretty quick into it, Sylvie prunes herself, lands on the planet, and then shortly after that, Sylvie, Mobius, find Loki. All right, let's start solving the day. Let's start saving the day, because Sylvie's got this kind of figured out on a plan and ideas of what they can ultimately do, right? I really thought in the last half we started getting some great, emotional nuance, even in the scenes with Loki and Sylvie, like that especially. I love like the way that's played, because it's the whole scene is them, they're saying something else to each other the entire time than what's actually coming out of their mouths at that moment. So I love like that kind of cutesy romancing. A lot of people are like, no, it's just friends. The director came out and said that there's no romantic inkling. I'm like, well, man, that guy,
that was so intimate.
It was so intimate and so like, I'm giving you my soul, Sylvie.
Yeah.
I am who I am today because you really change.
And I'm
Like-
going to risk my life to the end of
Yes.
time. If you go, I go.
I'm talking in the poetic nature and how
Yeah.
he spoke. Like, I know it's not, he hasn't completely changed only because of her.
Yeah,
There's a whole bunch of experience that have happened from right down from the first episode of seeing how his timeline should have played out, learning about reality, his interaction with Mobius. There's a lot.
The
of why he-
paperweights.
There's a lot of why he changed. His reality has been shattered and he's been forced to reflect and look at himself and who he became. I get that. I'm just saying in the way he talks with her for right up to that scene where he's creating the blanket, moving forward, almost like he just keeps pausing to be like, I trust you with everything. Like,
You are everything to me.
yeah, I would
don't know
die
who
for
I would
you
be if I
in a
lose you.
heartbeat. Yeah, like he just kept pausing.
Yeah.
Just to like, I'm gonna be so
So good
engaged
to
with
you.
right now.
I'm going to be so trustworthy.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that. I did feel like, oh man, but you like tease the present. Like I love the setup of what they even did with. Oh, you got some of these loner Lokis, kid Loki, classic Loki. Oh, but then there's like this President Loki and these like Viking, like barbaric Lokis here.
Yeah.
Like there's a story here to unpack, and it kind of just went by and really quick. And I think that does fall on the expectation problem because Marvel really pushed it. Obviously, learning more about it from watching like breakdowns and Easter eggs of like what President Loki is, and I just felt that if you're going to go to this planet where there's other Loki variants, there's so much you can do. I was kind of wanting a little bit of
You
Citadel
want to have
Rex.
that fun. Yeah, absolutely. You want your like rolling door of all the different
Yes.
possibilities, at least a little bit, even in a montage. I feel like this is going to be one of my gripes for the MCU shows. I'm getting the inkling. It's like the Netflix shows, the gripe quickly became, man, if they just pared this down by a couple episodes. And now with these MCU shows, I'm like, man, if they just added one or two more episodes to let a couple more things breathe. Because, yeah, like I don't hold it necessarily against this episode, but I do feel like there were a lot of opportunities to expand on some things and also let a couple other things breathe because, like, we could have, not that, I don't know if we absolutely needed it, but, you know, I would have been interested in finding out, like, how did Mobius find himself in this place and, you know, make it to the point where he could find Sylvie and help her out and kind of orient himself or whatever. And
because he finds, like, Sylvie shows up. There seemed to be a lot of fortunate, convenient
A lot of good timing.
things
Yeah.
for them that I thought they could have lived a little bit longer in the hopelessness of this.
Yeah.
And they don't really do that when I'm like, but you're in a planet that just, you know, is calling for that level of storytelling. So you can really feel more of the heroic triumph, too, of, like, because I love that classic Loki moment when he gets involved in the enchantment, building the Asgard. You're seeing like, damn, the Loki sorcery that he was teasing and his projection ability truly is powerful.
awe-inspiring, yeah.
It's gorgeous to look at, and it's a great moment. It's very triumphant. And I can't help but feel like, oh, but can you imagine if we just lived in their shoes longer? Like how much more that moment could have hit?
See, the funny thing is right now I'm like, this might be, you know, and obviously it's the afterglow of the immediate experience, but I'm like, this might be my favorite episode so far. I love this. But at the same time, now I'm imagining a version where the back and forth between Sylvie and Renslayer went for most of the episode and it ends with her pruning herself.
Yeah.
And we spend most of this time just exploring, this whole other alternate Loki, you know, trash can universe.
Because they literally lead you on Ravonna for like a tiny bit, not enough for me to even. I was like barely even swaying to, oh, maybe she's telling. I'm like, no, I don't buy this at all.
The only nugget of truth, and I appreciate it very much, I do, because I buy that this could be the case, is that she does feel sort of bewildered and betrayed, not knowing exactly what's going on. I could fathom that, and I'm happy, hopefully, that is a part of it. But yeah, it's like I never fully believed her, although I thought their interplay just as performers was fantastic.
Yeah.
So she sold it really well.
I still like the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still liked, there wasn't a scene here I didn't actually like.
Yeah.
There was just more stuff I wish they had sort of just, you know, let percolate more. Dive in deeper. But, you know, that's the problem with, I get what they're doing with the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, with Ravonna, there's some interesting things they do bring up about her because you're like, what is driving her? B-15 says directly to her, Sylvie needs you want. And she has a line to Miss Minutes where she does say that whoever created all this is in trouble.
Yeah, we need to protect them.
And she does kind of have this, like, martial that martial shit like cowboy thing about her.
Like, I'm next in charge. It's up to me to figure all this out, and if I do, they're gonna be real happy with me.
Like I still uphold my stance and
I'm still
my
dedicated.
position. Yeah, I'm still loyal. I just need to know and protect. But
TVA needs stability.
Yes, so like she still believes kind of in this weird cause, but she wants to know who's in control. And I really believe she doesn't know who's in control, obviously, because especially the way how she was questioning B-15, or perhaps it was just like I want to see if B-15 actually knows anything. If I have to prune her or some shit, right? Yeah. So like in the last half of this episode, I really thought what the big payoff to me was like, yes, the sweeping finale of all this, and like Mobius reuniting, like that goodbye moment, I thought was pretty great.
They've got some great and even if Loki and Sylvie aren't romantically inclined, like I really do love that between Loki and Sylvie and Loki and Mobius, they created two like really endearing, authentic feeling connections, friendships, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, like it was almost a joke during the reaction. I was like, "Oh, go ahead, hug him." But like it really read as like, "No, like bring it in." Like, thank you,
Loki. That's a physical representation because Loki's not that kind of guy generally. Like, you know what? No, screw the handshake. Let's hug. You know, it's a trope of a moment. But at the same time, to apply it to this, not just this dynamic, but to this character, Loki. That is like he wouldn't do that before.
No, and I think it's a beautiful way to show, like, yeah, we've been in the same shoes, and now it's your turn to be plucked from your timeline and told that your whole universe is upside down, and you're living out somebody else's divine purpose. You know?
Yeah, I loved Owen Wilson's performance in here. I loved all their performances. Richard E. Grant was a big highlight to me. I did like seeing Tom Hiddleston briefly play President Loki, or at least I know the costume represents it more. I don't know if the character is called President Loki, but he does have this like a little bit more gravelly voice, like
a little more sleazy politician version.
I like that a lot. That he still did something different with it, more than just change. Like there was something about his mannerisms and body language. He made sure that even though he shares the same face, he would portray it in a way that feels very distinct. And so I thought that was grand. And there's like fun stuff in here with like the Thanoscopter. I'm sure there's a bunch of things.
Throg.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Mjolnir.
The little Thor.
Yeah.
Is that little Thor, right?
It's Throg, I think, right?
That was Throg?
I think so. Yeah.
I couldn't tell if that was little Thor or Throg.
It was like so quick, but he looked like spindly in build.
Oh man, I gotta look at back.
I assumed it was maybe Throg in there.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, something about the design seemed like it was not quite humanoid.
I thought it was like a tiny little capture, but it's gotta be Throg.
I mean, that also exists. You know it does. Either way.
I thought that was like a fun version of that.
Maybe that torpedo is also a thing that's right next to the Thanoscopter.
There is a line in there that Loki says, the President Loki one of like we prefer snakes to wolves, which is like a fun Ragnarok reference.
Oh, Fenris.
And also like how that story of messing with Thor about the snakes, you know.
Oh, dude.
There are things I kind of pick up on, but most things I'll probably miss. I liked Alligator Loki.
I liked him a lot. I hope he gets a spinoff.
I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. It wasn't personally my favorite one, but it had some of my favorite moments. I would say.
That's fair. That's 100% fair.
Powerful stuff. All right, I'm going to look at the shot really quick.
Do it. Moment of truth.
Let's brighten the screen
Memento.
here this video's over.
Veritas. Those are different languages. So many cafeteria trays from Spider-Man, obviously.
Yes. Oh, was Throg.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to make sure to tell Pratham to throw a text in there.
Yeah.
Sweet. Good catch. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed our video, make sure to subscribe and click that bell. Hit that like button. And leave your thoughts down below. Correct us on anything you want. Or leave your theories. Whatever. Tell us all we missed. Last but not least, let's do a...
Mikhail Linden. Mikhail, this was a no-brainer for me, because if there's anybody at our Patreon I could imagine as a variant Loki, it's you. Because think about it, man. You've already got the sort of Nordic Scandinavian roots there from where you're from. But also, I can imagine you as a totally awesome variant that's like James Bond themed, because that's your passion in life, all right? That's what you're dedicated to above all else. Your glorious purpose is espionage, Mikhail. I hope you're enjoying the show. I hope that you are well, and I hope that by the final episode we see that it's actually you who's King Loki at the end of all time and space.
Didn't with Eric Horseman, I did the same bit about how that is he's a variant Loki of who? Is there anyone I can imagine being a variant?
He's also a good Loki, but Mikhail would be a more sinister Loki.
You Dane cooked me
and a
here
more.
a little bit.
Hey, I just did it on my own. Jokes are similar. It happens, man. Come on.